So really when you came to me and we first started, this is how I saw it. There was some relational stuff, definitely a lot of relational development held back. There was a lot of communicational development held back. And your relationship to the world and the environment was one of either I'm being taken advantage of and I just got to hide from it, or I have to work really, really hard in order to survive in it. It's like it's like either I'm in it and I'm working really, really hard and I don't necessarily enjoy my life, or I'm a complete rebel and I'm totally 100% against it and I'm just living away from everything. And like that was the relationship that I saw that you had to life when you first came in. The family, it was the relationship with the family was like that as well too. There wasn't support there necessarily growing up, the support that you wanted, the support and space for you to develop and grow into who you fully are. That clearly wasn't there. And then also the communicationally, there was this challenge around just asking for what it is that you wanted. Like really just straight up asking, like, this is what I need in relationship. This is the type of support that I need. And can you give that to me? And I don't even think that that was a possibility for you or something that you thought you could ask to anyone just because of that early environment that you grew up in. So when you came to me, that was really how I saw you right off the bat. What do you think? Do you think that that's pretty spot on?
Yeah, pretty much. Like the asking part, I would ask is just I got into a point where I basically wouldn't trust anyone, so I would just say what's the point of asking?
Right. Exactly. That's the isolation part. When we don't trust the world from our upbringing, or will this person take advantage of me? Then we isolate ourselves because that makes us feel safe. But what I saw over time, and this is still in development, but what I've seen starting to shift is the communication of I can draw boundaries. Like, no, you can't do that. Nope, that's not okay. Or, yeah, I really need support or help. Or, wow, things are really, I feel a little bit overwhelmed. Can you support me in this? And learning to ask for that support that you need and to trust that there are people and close people who just will help you if you ask for it. And it's that simple. They're not going to try to take advantage, or there's not going to be some ulterior motive. It's just, yeah, if you need help, I'm here to support you in the best way possible.
Hmm.
All that being said, what was it that you saw relationally shift for yourself? Like how you related to the world or relationships and people?
Well, like it's basically I think was basically a shift in my perspective, and like you said, not thinking that the world is out to get me, and more be more conscious that you know people have their own things, and it's just the way the lens that I'm seeing, or I was seeing their reactions, was just toxic one, was one that was influenced by my upbringing and
Mm,
my recent experiences. So it was just basically um changing my perspective, and work really with start really embracing the boundaries aspect, and communicate that with not with all people, but I think I'm still working on that, but I think with some people that definitely works.
mm,
And then the second thing was also just being able to embrace that, like I'm not broken. I'm not a thing here that is ruined for life. Like everybody, I also have my challenges, and just basically accepting myself that I'm just the way I am, and yeah, whenever I go through a rough patch, rough period, just being able to be okay with it.
yeah, I love that. Yeah. Yeah, I really saw a shift from oh my gosh, I'm going through darkness or I'm going through anxiety or worry. And oh, this must mean how messed up am I? And oh, I'm not capable of doing anything because I'm so messed up and broken or hurt, to, oh, wow, this is actually normal. This is what it means to be human. And when I am hurting, when there is darkness, when I am going through a bad space, I can call out for help and allow this part of me to be seen, and people won't abandon or run away.
Yeah, I guess in that part again, this was not a
It's
new
not,
thing for me. It was something that I already been, writing, and not writing, but reading and listen. It's just, it just sit a little bit better this time, and I think because I had someone that I could relate with. Like most of these things for me is just being validated. I All I wanted was to be validated, my
mm,
emotions, what I'm feeling. And I know I'm being a victim. I know I'm being a prick. I just want to be validated in that state.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's very hard to find people. Well, it's for me, it was very hard to even ask. Uh, but it's also, even if you ask, it's still very hard to find people that can hold space for that, because usually I get people that get triggered, and then they trigger me, and because it's not fun. Obviously, it's not fun being around a person that is negative, or is catastrophizing things,
right, right.
and I guess I always avoid that, because like yeah. So yeah, that changed a little bit for me. I'm still working on that. I still hold back.
Yeah.
I still hold back on, I don't want to bother people, or they have all their own issues, or but I do understand now how important that is for my own development, and the development of the relationship with that person. Um and there's a true gift coming out of that. So um yeah, I just need to be more confident, and again discern which persons are in my life that I can actually establish that type of relationship.
Yeah. What I see most people do before they come to me is they're concerned or they have worries and they think that they can't act out. Like they have to hide their temper tantrums or their emotional fits, hold it all in because they think people will either abandon them or leave them if they actually get messy, or they just yeah, they just hold it all in because they think people will leave them. And so many human beings don't give themselves the luxury to just be really messy and ugly and be okay with that and just be like, yeah, this is me being my darkness, this is my shadow, this is me being messy, and yeah, I need this to be seen and to be acknowledged. Like I need that right now. Most people, it seems to me, hold that back, and then that creates isolation, that creates the feeling of disconnectedness from life. But when we can give ourselves space and ask for the space and the comfort and the help from others to allow room for that darkness and to just go buck wild or be messy, then suddenly we feel more calm and relaxed, because that's all we're really acting out is just, that's all it is. Whenever we act out, we're just asking to be, hey, I don't feel safe right now, I don't feel secure in the world, everything's shifting, I'm nervous, can you be there for me? And so what I saw really flip for you, and especially when you went through that dark space for 2 weeks, it was like that old pattern came up. It was like there was the darkness, self isolation. I mean, for the first time, you had a relationship where you really enjoyed the person and they enjoyed you. And, things started moving with a tiny home, but then you went back into the darkness. It was like, can I actually hold this? Nope. Like I need to isolate. I need to not show anyone this. And then I'll reemerge to the world 2 weeks later or a week later. And but it doesn't have to work that way. It's having that support and knowing that you can be ugly and dark and in your shadow, and people will still be there for you and see you and acknowledge you and hold you in safe space. And that's what allows us to actually grow and develop. It's so funny to see whenever I see individuals start getting what they want in coaching work, when they actually start getting the things that their hearts really desire, all those self sabotage darkness patterns come up. Like even, with the relationship that came in for you, I could see where you were thinking almost of cutting it off too early, or like, "Oh, I just need to avoid it or let it go because I can't." And like that's the ego trying to maintain control. It's like I finally got someone who's there for me and loves me even when, or at least accepts me, or at least I think they accept me, even when I'm in my shadow and in my darkness. That person's finally here, but I don't think they'll stick around. So you know what? I'm just gonna, I'll let it go and I'll cut it off myself. And that's what the ego does, is when it think it doesn't have control, it will throw away even the good things in our life just to believe that it's in control because it feels safe when it's in control.
Yeah, that's totally true. And in my case, it has a double edge because I'm sometimes, with Noel was obviously different. I was obviously concerned with rejection. Um, but sometimes it's the criticism that comes out of that as well, you know.
Mm, mm,
So often people trying to fix me and trying to offer, unwanted advice and how should I do things, and you should do this and should do that, and again, I don't have no patience for that criticism or to being told what to do. And I guess that's when my rebellious part come in, because this is the part that I do identify from my childhood, the overly controlled father and family, that want me and still want me to do things their way without accepting or trying to even understand my point of view. This
yeah.
is a wound that is still there, and I think, and even bigger than the rejection part is that part. Whenever I'm playing out those patterns, that's what comes to me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So learning to trust yourself and to figure it out your own way as opposed to people thinking they know how to solve your problems for you.
Yeah, yeah, but like so many times I would just call or talk about it. Look, I'm going through this phase, and life is ugly at the moment, and I don't see a light, and that's when they start saying, you should do this, and why you're like that, you have nothing to complain, and just that. And I know they have the best intentions, and people, um yeah, it they just they just don't they miss the part that I want, which is being acknowledged that I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. And yeah, and I think that's what I need to learn, is just to communicate that upfront.
Mm,
And
mm. So Anna, I guess my question would be, what is like being believed in, like how do you think that shifts or changes things for you? Like when you have someone just believe in you and acknowledge that you can figure it out on your own and that you have the skills and resources to do so, and you have the safe space to do so and the safe space to mess up. Coming from that space, how do you think that will change how you do things moving forward? Not from the place of, oh, I'm broken or I'm hurt or I need people to tell me how to do things, but coming from the space of, oh no, like I can figure this out myself. And I have people who believe in me and support me. And if I fail, I still have a safe space to go back to. Like, how do you think that approach to life changes things?
well, I think everything becomes easier, so less pressure, less anxiety, and more space to be more creative and actually work in the flow. When I'm anxious, I don't think, I just react, and
Mm,
that's when things go wrong. So if I have that space and the some sort of an insurance that everything's going to be fine and people are still stick around and they're going to still support me, and the supporting system is still there, obviously things, there's it's a no-brainer, if as long as I keep doing and I keep trying, it will happen.
mm-hmm.
It it's just the Yeah, it's just doubting, the doubt whether the support system is there or not is what keeps me holding back in those situations.
Mm. How do you see yourself moving forward Like when you first came to me, that's what I saw. It was like I could see on a deeper level, you were really just asking to be believed in and to be okay with trying things. I can see
Yeah.
you smiling there. Yeah, like you were really just asking to be believed in. Like, hey, no one's ever just actually believed in me and allowed me to try it myself. And that's what I think is so valuable about this space is because you have someone who believes in you. You have someone who is there for you. You have someone who just sees the potential within you and then just speaks to that potential and allows you to go mess up. And if you mess up and you make mistakes, you come back to this space and you rework the program, you rework the strategy. And that's what every human being is looking for. Human beings don't want to be told the answers to things. They want to be known that they're believed in and that there's a safe space for them to go to if they screw things up.
Mm. Yeah, I guess I've been reading a lot about communities and how society would look like if we all have small little communities, and if we abolish all the families, institutions, and all that. And I do understand that. I think the world would be a better place if we all have this sense of community more into integrated in our lives. And I'm a perfect example of that. I think so.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I guess going for you, Anna, like going forward, well, before I actually ask that question, there's some other areas that I just kind of want to summarize here. Communicationally, how do you think, what shifts or changes did you see communicationally that will be beneficial for you moving forward? And I want to hear your thoughts on it and then I'll share with you mine.
Yeah, I'm more aware of expressing or assessing the situation and choosing whether I want to hold back or actually say something like, hey, this is not right, or I'm feeling this way, or and what I do still struggle is to assess that moment where what is exactly what I'm feeling and what is exactly what I want to say to that person.
Mm,
But the awareness is there, so I don't tend to shut down as much as I used to.
good, good. Yeah, what I saw when you first came to me was there was just shutdown and isolation. It was like, I don't know how to handle with this. I don't know how to deal with it. I want to go back into my own cave. Whereas now it seems like you're willing to still give yourself space if you need it, but then come back and communicate what it is that you need to communicate.
Yeah. Yeah, I will come around sooner or later at some stage, so I'm not just shutting down.
Yeah. Yeah. The shutdown was your default response. It was like, I don't understand what's happening yet. So either I'm going to react or I'm just going to run, react or run. And I don't know which one is right, but one of them is right. And whereas now it's okay, you might take some space, get in your own safe space, and then return a reply. But that's what I see. I don't know. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I like I said, I'm way more aware of that choice,
Yeah. Mm,
um, that I have a choice, and I'm more aware of the implications of each choice. Um,
mm,
there's also obviously the whole sense of hopelessness attached to that. So whenever I choose to um, hold back and shut down, it's because I have this deep belief that it's hopeless to actually even say anything, or anything that I could say is just going to revert negatively against me. So this is what I'm fighting for against whenever I'm having to make that choice. But at least I'm more aware of that.
beautiful. Yeah. Good. So relationally, can we talk about the relational development and what you saw really shift there? And I'll share with you my thoughts, but what do you think for you relationally really shifted and what because what I saw was you were in a space where it was just shut down in isolation. That was your default response, even with relationship, with other people. It was like, I don't really have much power or influence or ability to ask for what it is that I need or want. I don't really even know how to assess the situation or what's happening. So I'm just gonna shut down, go and just block the world out. And that was like where the rebel maverick part of you that I saw. And I've seen that integrate way more. Like there's still that maverick rebel part of you, Anna, but I've seen I've seen it integrate way more. Like it's very different. It's very different now. At least it's still there, but it seems like that part of you has integrated more. I mean, I think the first call you showed up wearing oh gosh, what t-shirt was it? It was a rebel, it was a black shirt with white lettering. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to go back and look at it. But
Um,
the first call we had, I mean, I was like, oh, she's total rebel, total rebel. And rebels are created. They're created a certain way. So that was what I saw right from the start. But now it seems like that part of you is integrated a little bit more, and you've stepped into a space where, at least how I see it, it seems like you've stepped into a space of more of your power. Like, oh, I can communicate what it is that I want or need after I've assessed the situation correctly, and I can speak up for what it is that I want and need.
yeah. Um, yeah, that's true. Um, like I'm a little bit more in my, like, it's like I feel a little bit more like myself. So I guess that's, yeah, being a little bit more in my power. The
Mhm.
way that you put it, I don't know if that's, yeah, it's all about boundaries again. Just put boundaries in place. Like, yeah, I guess um the the big step for me in terms of relation was actually cutting the ties that I had with my family, and just draw boundaries, saying no more of this, I don't want to.
Mhm.
And then see the effects that came out of that. So um I was totally unaware of, because I've been, away from my, I don't live with my parents for more than 20 years, and I don't depend on them. So I didn't realize how much this relationship was holding me back,
Mm,
but it was.
mm,
Um, it was, and it was only now that I'm willing and prepared to say, I don't care. I don't even care what you think, and I don't want more of this. Like, I deserve more of this, and if you're not able to give me that, then that's your problem.
mhm.
And again, it's a little bit probably rebel uh, to do that, but I've tried, and I exhaust so many options before I get there, so I don't even feel guilty about it at the moment.
Good. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I see how that impacted in my levels of motivation and desire to do things.
Mm,
Like,
mhm.
all of a sudden, I do want. I'm still scared, and I still have my moments where, I catastrophize, and um, but the desire is there more than ever, to put my hands on, and start doing things, because, like, I'm no longer concerned. And again, I didn't thought I was concerned about it, but there was something there, and I'm no longer now concerned whether they approve or what they're going to say, if they're going to judge or what they're going to think, because what really, again, more than the rejection, is the criticism that comes from me sharing a part of my life with my parents. I'm
Mm,
always expecting criticism, and this is way more frightening than the rejection aspect. Well, it goes together, I guess.
mhm.
But yeah, that's when I feel like this part of me just tensioning, when I think about, oh, I'm just gonna share that I'm gonna do this, and then I do this, to waiting what for what they're going to say, because I know they're going to say something negative or something like that. So not having to deal with that, it just frees me up to actually start doing.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Good. So, what do you think, Anna, for you shifted or changed relationally then? Like, if you were to summarize what change and shift you went through at the relational level, what would that be?
Well, I don't know how to put it in words, but I know that I would never had the courage to set boundaries with my parents, and I
Mm-hmm.
would never had been able to sustain the relationship with Noel as I am at the moment.
Mm,
So I don't know.
beautiful. Yeah. With those new relational skills that you're learning to set boundaries, but also to ask for support and have those people still stand by your side, how do you see that changing your life moving forward?
Well, it brings me hope, um, and desire to actually starting showing up the way that I am and that I always wanted,
Mm,
and it's easy, and it's way easier. It's way easier to
mhm,
function in a world like that.
mhm, mhm. When those are fully, because we've opened them up, we've developed them, but they're still growing and developing. But when you're at a point where you can speak up for what you need moment by moment, and when you know that you can draw boundaries relationally and then ask for what you need in relationship and not afraid of doing that, how do you see that changing your life once all that's fully integrated and fully developed? Like, what, with those abilities, what type of life do you think, how do you think it would change?
Well, I would be way more driven than I have been so far to actually achieve the type of life that I want. Fearless is the word that comes to mind. Probably is not as accurate, but yeah, I would definitely be more confident, more trusting in my own capabilities to create the relationships and the type of life that I think it's best for me, and not
Mhm.
being afraid of going and get it.
Yeah.
Being be more authentic as well as another one, in a way that I don't need to pull some false mask or pretend some role that I don't want to,
Mhm.
um, because I don't need to. If I'm not concerned about being alone or left alone or not having the supporting system, so
Mm.
because it's already there.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
yeah, if I know that I have a supporting system with the people that I choose that I want to, they're really real for me, then yeah, I, I I don't have the need to put up with other shite.
Yeah, yeah. Do you see the connection between having the ability to speak up for what you want, the ability to draw boundaries, and creating a higher emotional vibration within yourself? Like, are you seeing the connection between,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and this again, this is not new, and for a long time I've been trying to put limits on the with whom I spend my time with,
Mhm,
but sometimes there is a fine line between actually trusting in those connections fully, and kind of, "Oh, okay, this will do me for certain parts or certain periods, or and kind of make it fit in into my circumstances." So I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say here. um so yeah, it definitely, if yeah, it definitely allows me to be authentic, and there's no emotional um expectations around. I just can show up the way I am, and that's okay. So, and it's freeing. It's very freeing, and it's freeing for the other people as well. And that's how I would like to maintain relationships in my life, even though it's probably not. It might be uncomfortable at some stage, but I definitely prefer that than build up a, a, a lie or
Yeah. A fake identity or a fake self.
yeah, exactly.
That would, what I really saw when you first came to me was there was that sense of like hopelessness and that you couldn't go on living the way that you were. Like something had to change, something had to really, really shift for you. And what I saw right off the bat was, oh, she's learning. You hadn't learned to speak up for what you want clearly, and you had never had someone who respected your boundaries or um, who had held safe space for you to be able to try something and mess something up. And it was like I could see that part coming out very, very strongly.
Yeah, I guess you nailed it there. I felt like nobody ever respect my boundaries, and why and once again, why should I respect theirs? So I'm just gonna isolate and be on my own because blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and obviously that led to the situation where I don't recognize myself in that part, but I am in that role, and I'm like to think that I'm coming out of that role where I'm too afraid to make a move, too afraid to mess up.
Right.
And this was not always like that, or I don't think I was like that before. But obviously there was too many changes occurring at the moment in my life, and obviously me changing my whole life from up, completely 180 degrees. It probably triggered a lot of things, and yeah, I my only response to that was just
Mm-hmm.
shutting down and just be quiet and do not make a move. Otherwise, there
Yeah.
was there was a thought that kept appearing to me whether, you know, everything that I would do would probably be too risky, and if it's too risky, and I'll have to be dependable of my parents once again. And this was the biggest fear, yeah, I had, and still is, because God only knows that I would I would do anything just before I go back there.
Right.
Um,
Right. Well, the nice thing is, Anna, is you never actually have to, and if you ever did, you'd be able to draw boundaries very clearly, and that's the thing. People have to respect those boundaries. Like they don't have a choice. They don't have an option. When you speak those boundaries into existence, they don't have a choice. That's how we create. We create our words, create our worlds.
yeah, like I don't feel fully capable of doing that yet, but I'm
Yeah.
definitely learning, and I'm definitely more aware of how to do it.
Yeah. My sense is, I mean, if you when you came to me, I don't even think you realized that that was an option for you. Like it was just hide but now on a scale of percentage from 0 to 100, what do you see that as, like that capability to be able to?
Oh, I'd say probably half. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say about like 50, 60%. Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're at 80%, how do you think that'll change your life?
Oh, I'll be way more confident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I would be able to actually draw the right people into my circle, and make things happen in a way easier and more satisfying way because that's what kept happening to me when I was doing all these transitions. I kept attracting into my life the wrong people that would hold me back.
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I got into the stage where I was so mistrust. I kept thinking that everybody was at me because my boundaries were never respected.
Mhm.
I never allow that to be respected either. I allowed it the other way around. I allowed them to disrespect those boundaries because I never knew how to put them in place in the first place.
Mm, mm,
But again, yeah, if that changes, then things will happen very quick. You know,
mhm,
life would be much easier, less conflict, less hurdles.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And with the relationship that you have now, how do you think that's going to affect your life moving forward?
Well, it's affecting already. And again, my only concern is to become so dependable on this person that it actually will turn into the opposite side. Like it start to be more a hindrance than a benefit. But
Mm,
yeah, I have the support. Even I'm moving things to start building already in January, and I have no money. I've been sitting CVs. I have no jobs or positive replies. I have no idea I'm going to do and finish the project, but it's not concerning me for
yeah.
some reason. I know it will happen sooner or later. There's this sense of knowing that it will happen, and no matter if I have a run into a problem, Noel will find a way to keep me going or to allow me to actually keep me going. Like something he's gonna say or someone say he knows or he's definitely the right person for me to put in place that this idea that I've been having for so long.
Mm,
And in terms of more personal, it's very satisfying to share life or moments with a person that has the same life vision and similar values. And yeah, like I mean, I'm sure we'll not agree in everything always, but yeah, I'm not trying to convince him of anything. It's just and not he's not convincing me of anything. It's just very easy. I don't know. It's nice. It's a nice feeling. There's
yeah.
struggle. I don't have to, yeah, um, exhaust myself and trying to give to the other person, hoping that they will, give me something back. It's an equal give and take.
Mm, mm.
So it's nice. Yeah.
What I'm hearing there is it sounds like you trust life a lot more to give you what it is that you need. Like you know that your needs are going to be met. Whereas before there was always an anxiety or underlying worry of that.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust life per se. I do trust him for the moment. I do have my moments again, like
Mhm.
once in a while, a feeling of, oh, he's gonna change now, and he
Yeah,
replies
is
way, and
the
oh,
dark
he's
that I
already sick of me, and now that's when this is gonna go down, uh, and this keeps creeping once in a while, but they don't last.
Mm,
So because again, the next moment is just you know whatever event happened, the next moment is just overriding it with another gesture or whatever that actually give me the proof that it's okay. No matter what happens, I'm always going to have the best interests of you. I'm not going to hurt you I wanted to. uh,
mhm,
it's all unintended. I know that he has the best interest for me. That's what I'm saying, and that is satisfying.
mm,
Trusting in that, when I'm able to trust that fully, then yeah, I do trust in 100%
mm,
in
mhm.
life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really great to see. that shift, whereas I don't think you were open to that type of relationship. I think you wanted that, but I don't think you trusted your capability or capacity to keep that. And now it's really cool to see that you actually speak up for what it is that you need in the relationship.
Well, the relationship was not one of the things that I wanted. Remember when I when I first met, I didn't want to put any energies in the relationship, and it turned out to be the most significant thing that I have in my life at the moment, because from there everything else just kept growing.
Mhm.
And yes, I do want it. I just didn't thought I was ready for it. And again, I don't think I was ready. It's just unless, you know, the work that we've been doing would allow me to actually to have the tools to grow this relationship the way it is.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, I guess I probably have about one or two more questions, and then I want to hear some things from you around in terms of summary and total shifting. I guess moving forward with, if you have the ability to communicate boundaries, the ability to ask for what it is that you want, someone in your life like Noel, who you know is there for you no matter what and who you trust, how do you see with all of those skills and those components there, and when they're fully developed, because they're still in development, but we've opened them up and activated them and allowed them to become aware and started moving that development forward, when all those are fully developed, where do you see your life being?
Hmm. Like my state would be like in terms of emotional state, I'm way more relaxed. And again, if I'm relaxed, then I can make anything happen.
Hmm.
I think success will come, you know, in whatever I want and I choose to do in the world. I'd like to contribute more. So I think again, if I have the right support, that will come. You know, I see myself developing in other realms that I probably don't think it's possible right now.
Hmm. Yeah, me too. Really, the vision that I see for you, Anna, when all of these are fully developed, I think your creative power is gonna be so much more online, because you won't be afraid to ask for what it is that you need. You won't be afraid to ask for what it is that you want. You'll know that people will be there for you even when you get a little messy and dark, and that makes you a relentless force in the world. Like there's a recipe to being a relentless force in the world, and it's knowing how to communicate boundaries. It's knowing that people are going to be there for you even when things get a little bit dark or shaky, and it's knowing that you can ask for what you want. And when you trust yourself for asking what it is that you want and need, and also when you also know how to draw boundaries on people, and you know that people are going to support you if things go wrong, naturally become unstoppable.
Hmm. Yeah, like and strangely enough, I never worried too much, or it's been a while that I don't worry about money. Like I don't have abundance at the moment, but I know it can make it happen. I know it. Like I did it already, and I put my energy. I was very driven back then, and in such in 10 years, I did achieve a lot in my life, and I know I can make it happen again.
Mhm.
Uh, but I I I I sometimes doubted how this is gonna happen.
Right.
Uh, that's the only thing. But I know that I can do it again, and that would make me very happy.
Well, I see you coming from a very different emotional space now. Like the emotional space that it seemed like you came from before was, I need to make this happen. It was forced energy. And then you rebelled against that force energy. And now I see you coming from an emotional space of, I'm going to build this up from a place of enjoyment and trust, not from a place of lack of trust. And I need to make this happen or else.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm. Like before, it seemed more of proving energy, and now it's not proving energy. Like now it's enjoyment energy. And that's a very different place to build something from.
Well, there's still a little bit of me that want to prove, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, but it's definitely a way more healthier
Yeah.
place. Yeah, starting point, definitely. And this when I decided to make this whole change in my life, this was the principle I based myself in. If I'm going to change my life, I'm going to dedicate my life to do whatever. It has to be something that I really enjoy, because
Mhm,
I don't want to be in the burnout state again and just
mhm,
wasting my life
mhm.
over nothing.
Right, right. What do you see, I guess, going forward? Like what do you see as accomplishable for you now within the next year that wasn't there before?
Well, I have been thinking about a lot of building this tiny office, and I do think it could be a nice project to show people, and I think that some people would be interested. So what goes into my mind is like I would like to build a module and then build a business around it to
Mhm,
start with. And I'm hoping that next year this would be the year where I would start developing that business.
mhm, mhm,
Um, yeah, and again, there's something more personal about designing spaces for people that I probably never told you about, but it's like it's like a part of me. I was never I didn't I didn't have a very stable home until I actually left home. When I
mhm,
left my parents' home, I was able to create a space in my own terms with no anxiety, no stress, no nothing.
mm,
So I do like to spend time at home,
mhm,
and, and I care about things. I care about the internal space and how it makes you feel and stuff like that. So there's something about that, designing those spaces for other people, that I would like to do, develop a business around it somehow.
mm, mhm, mhm,
Um, so I think I could achieve that, fulfilling. I would be fulfilled if I could. Yeah, if I could do, if it's even if it's just a tiny office, I
mhm,
would like that challenge, even though I know it's gonna be probably not. It's gonna be um challenging in the way that I'll be very insecure whether what I'm designing is gonna be, good enough or not. I know I'm gonna encounter a lot of challenges there.
mm,
I'm still waiting for the approval from the other parts.
mhm, mhm. And did you see that as something that was possible beforehand?
Like, yeah, kind of. I did a couple of years ago, when I had first when I had this idea and I start doing the course. This was on my mind, but then I find so many obstacles that
Got
I just
over.
draw a plan B, and my plan B was maybe I just find myself a nice office job and do other things and the side. And coaching, again, it's been in my mind, and it is on my mind. And that was what was in my mind when I came to you, because
Mhm,
I thought that maybe I could do something in that area.
mm,
um, but I think, if it has to come, it will come eventually.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Good, Anna. Well, it was really for me, it was an honor and a pleasure just to see those different parts of you come forward. Like even when you had the anxiety and the worry and, the dark spaces and the acting out, it was really cool to see for me just the space that you were coming from. And it was like, "Nah, she just needs support. Like she needs to know that she's cared for and that it's okay to ask for help. And even when you think everything's going wrong and like that's just what you were really asking for was like, can I be messy? Like, is it okay that I'm messy? And you're not going to run or leave or anything like that even if I'm messy. And I thought that was really just really cool to see you develop that level of starting to develop that level of trust again. And I think that's really important. So that was really cool to see. And then it was also neat to see you put yourself out there with with the business. I mean, you made a couple offers. Some people were about it, other people weren't, and it's just to see you starting to learn to trust yourself in your own creations was really that was like it was really wonderful to see because I didn't see that. I didn't see that before. When we first started, my sense was you were really in a struggle between living a creative life on your terms or just society's. And it was just one or the other. There was no option in between. But now it seems like you're in a space, my experience is that you have some more self trust in being able to create life on your terms now that you have those relational and communicational skills moving forward. And that's going to give you more creative power in the world.
Mm, yeah, it's a nice way of putting it. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, you got it, Anna. Is there anything that you want to share with me or say or anything at all?
No, I just the fact that it was a pleasure as well to work with you. Like I said, it was very important during this time to actually relate with someone that somehow I thought you could understand me.
Hmm.
I didn't have to explain much and not just being accepted as I am. There's a part of me that is like, ugh, you know, how am I gonna be able to? It's like I was never. I don't think I was very dependable all the time on you, but there was moments that were our interactions were very crucial for me and turning points.
Mm.
And I do fear whether next time, you know how am I going to do it without that extra support?
Right, right. Well, and that's the cool thing about it, Anna, is the next time you move through a dark space or a concern or a worry or something like this, that person will be there for you. Like they'll actually like Noel will be there for you. You can ask for that support. You can ask for that help. Like, hey, I'm closing myself off. I'm feeling really dark. I'm avoiding everything. And I just need someone's support. Like I need someone there to be there for me. And once like that, you'll be able to ask for that and you'll know exactly what you need to do. Like you just will. You'll be there.
Yeah, like I said, a little doubt sometimes creeps in still.
Yeah, that's okay. That's a part of living. That's a part of living. But the cool thing is once you know there's people there for you and you can ask for that when that doubt is there and it comes up in a bigger way, you'll be good to go. And if it gets really, really, really bad, you can feel free to just shoot me an email or message me and I could take some time, a little bit of time out.
That's good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, you got it. So
Yeah, no, really good, really good. To work with you, and it was my first time ever with a coach, and it has been a really good experience. So thank you for that.
yeah, you got it, Anna. I'm really excited to see what you create and move forward in the next 2 or 3 years.